Hello, everybody. Welcome to Authors Go for Broke. My name is Bailey, and I am really, really excited because I have a wonderful author being featured with us tonight. His name is Steve Menaa. And Steve, say hello.
Hello. Hi, everybody.
Hello.
Nice to be here with you.
Hi. So I just would like to talk a little bit about who you are, how you were as growing up, how you ended up being who you are, and how you got into writing. So first, we'll just start from the beginning, and we can talk a little bit about you. So, can you tell us where you were born?
I was born in Paris, the 11th arrondissement, if you know Paris. Like it's between Place de la Bastille and the cemetery Père Lachaise. It's
Okay,
kind of a small village, that's where I'm from actually.
that's beautiful. That's wonderful. And how long did you live there?
Well, when I was a baby, actually, I was sent to Tunisia. I grew up in Tunis, in a posh area in Tunis. I did my primary school in Tunis, and then since back to the time I was born in 1968. So back to the time, well, nowadays it's okay, they have everything over there. But back to the time, like it was good once you finish your primary school to be sent to a good school in Europe, preferably in Europe. So I was sent to an international school in Amsterdam, and then I spent my primary school in Tunis. But after I went to Amsterdam, which was a big change actually. Well, not to mention the weather.
Yes,
Yeah,
true.
and well, that was quite. I did my secondary school over there, and the main language was English because it was international school, so people coming from everywhere in the world. And that's how I spent my childhood, like. And then when I graduated, I went to France to continue my study.
Oh, wonderful. And did you know a little bit of English before you went to Amsterdam, or did you have to learn a whole new language when you got there?
Actually, my parents were quite clever. Well, I mean, I don't have a close relationship with them. Well, my father is gone now.
Mm.
But my father was always talking to me in English, while my mother was talking to me in French. So I just picked
Okay.
up the two languages naturally.
So I moved to France a few years ago myself. Although
Oh,
I
right.
I do not speak French hardly at all, so please don't even try. It'd be very embarrassing.
Well, maybe because you
Um,
are surrounded by only English-speaking people, that's why.
yes, and when I try to speak French, everyone likes to speak English back to me to practice. So it's very funny, but it's actually very hard to speak French over here for some reason.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
I
I
see where you're coming from.
understand because I actually have a little boy as well, and we're doing the same thing. We're trying to. My husband speaks French, so he's trying to speak to him in French, and I'm speaking in English, and hopefully it'll work out like you, or it'll
He'll
end up
pick up the
being
two languages naturally, yes.
naturally, yes. And then you ended up moving to Ireland, is that correct?
Yeah, well, when I was in France, then after I graduated, a job show, like it was organized by my school, and there were like a few jobs, like they were looking for people to hire and everything. So I was interested by the Air Force, so they made me a good picture of what was the Air Force, becoming a pilot and everything. So I say, yeah, good. I'm going to join the Air Force actually. So I went through the selection process,
Okay.
which was quite difficult, I would say. I mean, and then I joined the Air Force, and the training at the start was to become a soldier, which in the first place I was asking myself, I didn't sign for this, I signed to be a pilot,
To
but that was
fly.
mandatory training, and actually they try to test you to the limits. For about 6 months, they test you as a simple soldier. I was a number.
Okay.
You had to forget your name actually.
Oh my
I
goodness.
was number 13. It
Number
was written on my
13.
cap because the first numbers were the trainers actually. the one, two, three, four, five. They were the trainers. And then after I became to be number 13, 1, 3. And it was
Okay.
written on my cap. So I was called 13. Uh, and um and then during this training, it was very hard, I would say, because you trained as a basic soldier, military, like going through the things like how to use the rifle, how to do the things, and we were encouraging each other to stay and to support all the training and things. And every day, well, I've seen at least until the end of the training, half of the people they just gave up because it was too complicated. And I was doing one thing uh, every day. At the end of the day, I was, well, that wasn't that good. That was this, and I was thinking, let's see tomorrow. And then tomorrow it was the same again. And then I continued like, let's see tomorrow,
Let's
and
see
let's see
tomorrow.
tomorrow until I did it until the end. And then when it was the end of the training, I remember the instructors, with they were technically were less ranked than me,
Oh my goodness.
but yeah, but still, I was only number 13. Like I had to obey the orders and to do what they say. And in the
Hmm.
end of the training, when it was over, and half of the people were lost, like and I we went out for a party outside of the basement, and the instructor were there, and we had a drink together. And I told one of them, say, you have no idea how many times I wanted to kill you. And he told me yes, and he told me yes, I know, but
He says,
congratulations, you did it. So now you
"Oh,
can start your pilot training, your real pilot training. That was, well, sorry, I'm a bit talkative, but
no,
that
I
was the
love
way it was.
it. I love it. I absolutely love it. No, that's why we're here. That's why we're here. That's the whole point of this show. The whole point of this channel is to, everyone goes and they just pick a book and they read it, and every once in a while you'll have an author that knows everything, but it's I just there's so many incredible people who behind all the stories that you read, and so I'm so excited. So keep talking. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's so hard to follow a chain of command like that. I can't imagine the stress and the struggle that you went through. It's I'm proud of you because
Thank
I
you.
understand how hard that must be, especially when you went in thinking, okay, I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna learn how to fly, and then you're down on the ground in the mud, and they're training in a
No,
completely
it's not
different
that
way.
easy.
That's I don't know if I would have continued myself. So I love your positive mentality of like just kind of like let's go for the next day.
All right.
And I love that you're brave enough to tell your superiors that you wanted to kill them. I bet they
Well,
loved
that
you.
was just the meaning, of course, I wouldn't. So,
It's. Do you think that they have to be super hard and stern in front of you, but then when they leave,
oh, yeah,
they're
yeah,
like
yeah.
they're like, oh man, we really love Steve. He's so
Yeah,
good.
no, actually, this kind of thing is necessary because they try to test your limits and see how you can behave on a very bad situation or something like that. They just made up your mental and see how you go. If you don't fit, you leave, and that's it.
Was learning how to fly after that, was it easier because they had already it was so hard for you in the beginning, or was the next course of learning how to fly, was that just as difficult?
Well, when it was coming to the real pilot training, it was, I wouldn't say it was easier. It's more educated. Like you are talking to colonels, you are talking to generals, who people who were fly before you. Like they were fighter pilots, and they know everything about it. Like and so they teach you exactly what the job is.
And
So
did you know how to fly at all before going in, or did you learn everything from 0 to 100
I
in
would
the
say when I was young, uh, I was always fascinated by aeroplanes. Like I was when I was seeing one. I was looking at it, like, and uh, that always fascinated me. And after I learned about how a plane can fly,
Mm-hmm.
how like all the avionics, like the lift, the drag, the thrust, and the things like the basic things. Well, not try to be too much technical. Uh, and then when I went to this course, that was more interesting because it was enhancing my knowledge of aviation, of exactly. And actually, I just realized what we did, humans. We copied the birds. We just copied the birds because I can tell you, none of the most powerful aeroplane nowadays can compete a bird.
Okay.
Still, still, the birds, the skies belong to them still. So, but we are doing quite okay.
Okay. I saw on, I believe it was Facebook, that you were an astronaut, a round three candidate.
Yes, absolutely.
And so,
Uh,
how did you, just your love of flying, you wanted to go into space is like your next step, or?
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I would say like I was like one of my passion was astronomy. So I loved to watch the stars, to understand. And so just like after studying astronomy, like just to find out like Earth is just a planet and the sun is just one of the stars among all the stars you see in the galaxy. Um, and then you see there must be something out there, like and then uh, I was really interested in space exploration. I followed the Apollo missions, which was last century, and I'm still surprised this century, 21st, we didn't do anything that big. Still
Mm-hmm.
not. And they did it with poor computers in 1969. Up, it was like the first one was Apollo 8, when it was just going around and coming back to the moon, which
Right.
remind me the book of Jules Verne's From the Earth to the Moon. Actually, that remind me the story. Apollo 8, it was just go around, and then the first landing of mankind to the moon was Apollo 11 in 1969, in 21st of July, if my memory doesn't fail me.
It's
uh,
okay. Mine does all every
and
day. It's okay.
and then after there were more missions, and they did it. They were very courageous people because they did it with technology less than 1% than your smartphone. I mean, they had poor computers. The modules, the Apollo modules, like landing on the moon, was
Hmm.
never tested. So, but they did it, and they did it again. Well, I mean, we are in, and that was last century. I insist on last century because people say it was 1968, meaning it's still the same century, but no, that was last century. Like this century, how we are going to feed all the people? And well, naturally, we need to go to space. We need to enhance for the sake of mankind, and that's why. Well, when I saw the Mars One mission, I was interested. I said, "Wow, that's interesting." Well, so let's apply for it.
Let's apply. See, you're saying that like it's like the most normal thing in the world, but I think so many people would be like, "Wow, that's really cool," and then never go through with applying or never take that step. Or you'd be like me and I could not be an astronaut. Space scares the bejeebies out of me, but I love it. I love learning about it. I think it's so fascinating. I love following all the rocket stuff. My husband's asked me like, "Oh, would you ever go into space?" And I'm like, "I don't think so. I don't have a. I'm afraid of heights, so I think space is a little
Or you
too."
don't feel heights in space, like you're just in zero gravity, so there is no height,
I
there
think
is no
every
up, there is no down.
I think everybody has that dream though to kind of float and feel.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Were you able to do that? Were you able to go far enough into training to be? I don't know how I don't really know how they test you for that. I've only seen like movies and stuff where they spin you around or try to put you in situations. What is it actually like to try to be an astronaut? And how
there are
far did
people that
you
train.
get?
There are a lot of people who train to be astronauts all their life, and then they never go to space.
Right.
Uh, so, there are several things. Like you have like the most thing if you want to simulate the zero gravity is the parabolic flight. I don't know if you heard about it. Like if you board an Airbus A300 and it goes up, 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 and then it goes down. So much down so, than for it lasts just at maximum a few minutes. You feel like you are in zero gravity. And then after it has to come back, and that's why they call it the parabolic flight. So this is the way to learn how to behave in zero gravity. The other thing is to be in a pool,
No.
with kind of astronaut suit, and you learn how to be. Well, it's not completely zero gravity in a pool, but it's quite close enough to learn how to use the suit, how to use the tools, and how to do the what they call the AVR missions, like outside of the space shuttle, and how to fix if they need to fix solar panels, if they need to fix things. That's what they do actually. That's the astronaut training.
Wow. That is so incredible. I feel like you've had all of these great life experiences, and I can't help but feel like it probably has something to do with why you're such a great author, because you just have so many life experiences to pull from, so many emotions, so many feelings. I think I always feel like authors, they can pull little pieces from their life and put it into characters, and that can help, you know, make the writing so much better. So when did you actually begin to write?
When I started to write, I started very young. Like, I was always fascinated by everything I could see. And I was always having my notebook. Look, I have one here, still using it, you see.
Oh,
And
right.
yeah, I always take when I see something, I made a lot of notes. I have
Wow.
hundreds of such notebooks like this when I see something or anything with something, or sometimes I happen to wake up in the middle of the night coming with an idea and I just go and write it down before I forget it.
That's the best thing to
And
do, the absolute best thing to do. I
yeah,
also like to have the journals and write everything out by hand. The whole first draft of a book I did completely with notebook and pen, because it felt more personal. I just took it everywhere with me and wrote whenever I wanted to, and I loved it. So I completely understanding, just like having a. Did you keep it with you? Did you bring it with you,
oh
the little
yeah,
notebook? Because
always.
that's I like the size. You can keep it with you to just.
Yeah, yeah, it's a nice size with a pen.
Yeah,
So
you're walking down the street and you see
I
something
walk on the street, I
inspirational.
see something, I hear something, wherever. If it's interesting, I just write it down. And then at the end of the day, I just read back what's in there. And then sometimes it come to ID, sometimes nothing come. But sometimes it's like white
You're like,
page.
why
So
did I think that was great?
yeah.
No, I love that. I love that so much. So, what is now we've talked just a little bit before this. You have actually quite a few books out. What is the very first book that you published?
Sunbeam Alexia.
Okay, and that's a series, right?
Well, it's a story. In the first place, it's a story. And then, well, in the first place, when I wrote Sunbeam Alexia, uh, the book was more than 1,000 pages
Wow.
with chapters and everything. And then I say no, I'm going to make it in a trilogy, like, so I did the first Sunbeam Alexia, which is a story of a girl, Parisian girl. She's fluent in French and English, and she discovers she can read minds of people. And after she discovered that she's not the only one having these things, and it didn't happen. by accident. So that's the
Oh,
story.
I already want to read it. Sounds so good already. Okay. Deciding to take one big book and splitting it into two or three novels, was it, do you feel like it was hard to like decide where to cut off and split
Yeah,
it up? Was that difficult, or was it kind of like, no, was it easier than expected?
yeah. You have to be very organized and make a structure of the book, like, because otherwise you don't want to cut it when the readers they read it, they would feel like incomplete story or something like that. So yeah, you have to create three separate books, I would say. But the book itself, if you don't decide to read the others, like the book itself tells for itself, like the story
Okay.
tells for itself. And
Oh,
then
okay.
after the second and the third one, which it's the conclusion of the story.
Wonderful. That is so exciting. That is so exciting. And then what did you write? What did you write next?
I did the reversed clock.
Okay, what's that one about?
Okay, the reversed clock. It's well, I was like I remember I was sitting in my living room. I was watching TV and things, and I was watching the clock, digital clock, and I thought, oh, what's happening if it goes backward instead of going forward? And so I came to this thing. I wrote it down to my book, and then I wrote a few words, and then I made them sentences. But I said, okay. And I said, I'm in Ireland. Let's go to an Irish story, which, well, if you know Ireland, there is something between the Republic and the North Island. So I made it a story. It's about an old man in hospital, and he's really at the end of his life, and he's lying in hospital bed, uh, having some water, medication, and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so he just has nothing else to do. He's just watching the clock, and he just noticed the clock, instead of going forward, the digits just go backward. Well, the first thing the character, the first thing he thinks is Navan. I called him Navan. And Navan is not a random name, because if you write down Navan, you can read it Navan, and you can read it in the opposite as well.
Ah, okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's a clever. You are so clever.
And that's what happened, Navan, and he noticed that the clock was going forward, and he thought it was a mistake, or his memory is making mistake. He dedicated his life as a soldier. So he had a family, he had children, and but service like came first, like the army, the calling for service came first. And so he was thinking he in the end he wasted his life, because he was dedicated all his life to the army and to Ireland, basically. And so coming back to time, the clock was testing him.
Okay.
So uh, if you're right, the clock take you backward. If you're wrong, the clock take you upward.
Oh my
And if you
gosh.
reach at some stage, you die forever. And that's the story. So he comes back to things, and he has to rethink the choice he made. And that's a story. I'm not going
Come on.
to say no more about it.
Come on, Steve. Come on. Now I have to buy that one too. I'm not made of money, okay? I can't just keep buying all your books, but I have to because they all sound so amazing. Um and the one that I want to talk about today, which is featured, is this one right here. I got it with me.
Ah,
Yay!
price of return.
The
Yes.
Price of Return. I got it. I read it and I absolutely love it. You did a fantastic job.
Thank you.
Um, So, Steve wrote a book called The Price of Return, and I want him to tell you what it's about a little bit, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. So, what is
Okay,
this one
so
about?
the price of return actually it came to me when I am in Ireland. So we have narrow streets, narrow roads here, and I was driving in. It was over the winter. I was driving on an icy road, and I saw a dog crossing in front of my car. So bad reflex, like
Oof.
I just did this, and the car on the icy road just went into the trees. Well, I think I had a coffee with St. Peter.
Oh my gosh.
I think I had a coffee with St. Peter. I don't know. I woke up in hospital and I was wondering what I'm doing here. A nurse was here and I say, what happened? And she told me, you were in a car crash.
Oh my goodness.
What I say, I don't remember. What I say, and I say, oh yeah, I begin to remember now. And say, what happened? What happened? And say, you have been brought here 3 days ago. Say, 3 days ago.
Oh my.
All
You were
right.
in a coma for 3 days?
Yes. Yeah. And I mean, I don't remember nothing about it, like to be honest. Um, well, I think I saw the bright lights. I think I saw the bright light was peaceful, not dazzling you or anything like that, but it's really fragmented what I can remember about it, And then I was quite okay, they just I went like to X-rays to see everything was okay. I was just left with three broken ribs, and
Okay.
I stayed a few days in hospital to recover, and then I asked the nurse, "Can you bring me a notebook and a pen, please?" And then that come like because like you have nothing else to think of when you're in hospital.
Right.
Well, that come the story, the price of return, and then I started to put words, put sentences, and put try to structure chapters. What would be the story? And then I started this way.
I'm really glad that you're
Well,
okay.
the dog is okay.
The dog is okay. You're such a good person. I should have asked about the dog. I'm thinking
I
about
waited
you.
my car. It was a nice BMW, uh,
The dog is okay.
but the dog is okay.
The dog is good. Good. Good for you. You're such a good person.
Oh yeah, yeah. The price of return. Well, it's a man actually. He's working a single man, has nothing in his life, lives alone in an apartment, has a job as an IT engineer, and he's a geek. I would say he's a geek. Problem solving. Yeah, problem solving is his thing. Like he can solve any problems, and he was proud. Like the only proudness he had is buy a very fine car, a sport car. He was proud of it, and he was going to work every day with a car, and he was problem solving. Not well, I would say not very friendly, but not in a bad way. He was like quite reserved,
Reserved.
and
That's a great word for it.
yes, and then he was solving problems, but for years. And one day, he was called by his hierarchy, by his managers, and they told him, say, look, you're a great man, you solve problems, but you don't follow the policies, you don't follow procedures. Since the policy was became more important than the troubleshooting itself, so he was thanked, I would say in polite manners. He was thanked for the good job after nearly 2 decades in the same company. And so he took his car. He drove back. He was proud of his car. He drove back, but he didn't come back home. And he stopped at a pub and he had a few drinks. and continue until the closure of the until the pub closes. And he took back his car to come back home, and here he was in a crash. And then he wake up in a very bad place, a place when you do bargains with a place. You have the heaven uptown, and you have the worst place down, and it was more likely the down place.
I would say yes. Absolutely.
Yes. And so he just found out that if he wants, he's given a chance, if he wants to gain his life back, because he was still alive, but he was in coma in hospital,
Hmm.
but he was still alive, but uh, he was in the down bad place, and he was told that if he wants to get a chance to regain his life, he has to pay the price, and that's the whole story.
And it was fantastic. Um, it was more, an internal journey. It was way more, about looking inward at yourself and discovering who you are and what's important. And, pieces are being taken. And it's like, um, I don't know. It's just very, you just did a great job. It's deeper. It's deeper. I
Thank
was
you.
thinking that it would be this, fiction, fantasy book. Um, but it felt so much deeper than that. It's just for the readers so that they know.
Well,
It's
if they
soul
can,
searching, it's a journey when you
yeah.
read it. So,
Well, if the reader can, like, while they read this book, if they can just stop and think of themselves about questions, and well, if the readers can do this, like, the book did its job, actually, I would say.
exactly. I mean, even I stopped and I was like, am I fulfilling my potential in this life? It's kind of, you're like, oh, like, could I be doing more? Is there, you know, um, so yeah, you definitely could look up at the ceiling or out your window and have some deep thoughts after, which I think is fantastic. That's a great thing that happens with literature. You can always take it and think beyond. So, just from the sounds of what we've talked about with your life, do you feel like you've been, living your life to the greatest potential? And when people have near death experiences, I've heard that they kind of like relook at their life and they're like, "Oh, I want to change, or I want to do this different, or kind of like it's my second chance." Did you have any of those feelings?
It's hard to say, to be honest. Well, if I live my life to the fullest, sometimes I think I do, sometimes I think I don't.
Ah,
I'm
that's
always
human.
questioning that, and those questions generate a lot of things that I put on my small notebook. Sometimes I look back on what I did. I just think maybe if I did things otherwise, things would be different. No, or maybe not. I don't know. But things happen for something, probably. I don't know. So living life to the fullest would say sometimes I feel yes, sometimes I feel I don't. It depends. That's why I have this think, and sometimes I read it back and see. Sometimes you say I didn't do the right thing, or sometimes you think you did the right thing. It's an eternal question.
Right. It can trouble you, so don't think too hard on it.
Yeah,
It can kind of put you in a weird funk if you're not sure, and so I don't want that. I think it's great that you were able to take something that was so scary and so intense and put it into a novel. I think that's fantastic. And have your own, it has its own spin.
I think it's don't be scared of being scared.
Yeah,
So if you think this way, you can accomplish a lot of things. Don't be scared to be scared.
exactly.
Go out of your bubble. Just try to go a little bit beyond your bubble and things. Be out of your uh, social
Yeah.
bubble. Like
Step out of your
take a
comfort
step. Yeah,
zone.
just take a step and see. Don't be afraid to be uncomfortable of doing things and see what happens. It makes experience, maybe good, maybe bad,
Mm-hmm.
but in the end, it's still an experience.
Right. Well, as you were writing it, were there themes and messages and things like that that kind of came to you as you were writing it? Was it, did you have to like do many drafts and things like that as you kind of were deciding how the character was gonna go from start to finish, or did you kind of have a solid idea of what you wanted him to go through in the story?
Well, w when I started the book, yeah, it was like I put the things together, and then I had to stop sometimes to think what would be the next step, or all the time what I will give the character to give him a lesson. Is he going back to life, or is he not going back to life? Is going to stay in hell, or is he going to be back? I tried to keep it like the way it was. And in the end, you can see in the end, well, I'm not going to tell you in the end.
Yes,
You
don't
don't
tell, don't
know.
spoil us yet.
You still don't know. You still don't know, but
Right. No, I know,
quite.
and I love that part as well, but we can't talk about that too much. So, um, and so, what would you say was the most challenging part to write of the story, and what was the most fun? I don't know. You enjoy writing, so
Yes, yes. I like writing, yes. Challenging. So everything is always a challenge, actually. Everything is challenge. Uh, so I mean, to this book, it came to my mind after an accident. I was trying to connect to the character myself, and that's I tried to share my feelings.
hmm.
It's not easy to express your feelings and your thoughts and everything. So yes, that's the most challenging part is to express feelings and thoughts. I would
Yes.
say that, yes.
Okay. I think that's always a difficult thing, and it's another difficult challenge is to be brave enough to share once it's on the paper to know that you're gonna publish it and print it and have people read it. That can be a whole nother level of kind of scary. Were you ever nervous to get a book published, or once you wrote it
Oh
you were
yes,
happy
always,
with it?
always,
I think every author
because
is terrified. Deep down,
uh,
they're terrified because they've worked so hard on it. They've worked so hard.
well, yeah, always, always, because you never know what people they are going to think, what they are going to identify themselves to the story, and you don't know. It's always nervous when you publish the book. Yeah, you don't know what's gonna happen.
What are you hoping people are going to get out of it when they close the book and they finished?
To stop and think exactly what they did in their life, what they didn't do, what they wanted to do, what they didn't want to do. Was it good? Was it wrong? Uh, if they stop it and think about this, the book did the job, as I said before. Yes, that's what I want is people they just question themselves about their life. Whatever is their life, we all have different lives. So it's just to if they find a part, just a part of in the chapters, if they find a part like they say they can improve or maybe do something differently or think, yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
I want to talk all about it, but I don't want to spoil anything. So this is the price of return. I'm gonna have there are links down below for you guys to buy it directly. Take you right to Amazon to buy it. So please, if this has excited you, please go ahead and you can click on the link, and I'll take you right to this book. You can go ahead and buy it right now if you'd like, and if not, go ahead and just look up Steve Menaa and look up the other books because he's made a few other novels as well. We already talked about the trilogy in this one, but you have I think two other books out as well.
Sunbeam Alexia and Secret Life of a Fiver.
Ah, that's the one. That's the one.
Yes.
Okay. There's
Well,
that one
it's
as
it's a
well.
story of a note of €5, wherever. It's well, this story came when I had in my wallet a note of a fiver, and sometimes I had a brand new one. It was like smelling fresh, and sometimes I had one was torn, was banded and things and say, what happened to you? And so I wrote the story of the beginning of the life of a €5. Well, it's €5. It could be £5. It could be $5, whatever. And then passing from hand to hand, it's witnessing exactly what the people think. Sometimes it could be for people, €5 could be a meal, could be a treasure. For other people, it's nothing, just a just a tip or
Hmm.
something. And in the end, well, the note travels from hand to hand and witness stories of people, and then it goes for other hands until the end of its life.
I love it. I love your ideas. I don't know where you come up with such creative, unique, wonderful ideas, but I love every single one of your stories that you've talked about. I love this one, The Price of Return. It's fantastic. I know your other books are going to be great as well. So, like I said, if anyone's interested, please look up Steve Menaa or go ahead and click the link for you to go right to this book directly. I might be able to link some of your other books as well, actually, and have them on there. So please go ahead and support Steve because he's amazing, right? We just learned so much about him. He's
Thank you very
fantastic.
much. Thank you. Well, I'm happy to be here with you, actually,
Thank you.
and I'm happy to share my stories. If there is anything like
Are you working?
I'm open to so people can contact me anytime. Give feedback, good or bad feedback. If you succeed in something, you're okay. If you fail, you're still okay because you will learn from it. I think that was Nelson Mandela who said that.
Oh, but it's
If my memory
what
doesn't fail me.
wise words, wise words.
Yeah.
Um, so so do you have another, something in the works that you're probably not ready to share just yet, but with your notebook, do you have another book you're kind of working on or not yet?
Not yet. Not yet. I'm reading a lot until I decide to go on the other side of the feather pen. Like,
Reading is so important. It's fantastic to
yes,
do. I think a lot of authors like to read, except sometimes I know a lot of writers who quit reading once they start writing because not only because writing is so you have to it takes all your time, but
mm,
because sometimes some influences, the way other writers
absolutely.
how they word things, we kind of as humans just kind of copy things. Not copy, that's a bad word, but you
Oh, I
know,
keep reading all the time.
if
Like I
you
just
read
finished. I just reread because I studied when I was in school. The Martian Chronicles from Ray Bradbury. What was like back to that time? He was a futurist vision. Well, if you read it now, it could be some obsolete, I would say, but that was nice. I love reading books from Jules Verne as well. He
okay.
was known as the father of science fiction. Uh, Otherwise, no, it's not because I'm writing, I stop reading. No, no, that's a mistake you make. I keep reading all the time. I spend at least half an hour or an hour every day to read, and it's my time. My time without anything. I just stop and read the book.
I love it. I love it because every reader feels that way. Anyone who loves to read knows what it feels like to just kind of tune out everything else and just escape in a book. There's no better feeling,
Mm,
except for maybe writing a book, but but it's not relaxing, per se. So reading, you can really just relax, enjoy, and that's what I hope all the viewers out there do with your novels. So thank you so much for coming on this channel with me. I am so honored. I'm
my
so
pleasure.
glad that you are here. You're wonderful. You make me
Thank
smile.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
All right, so everybody, thank you so much for being here with Authors Go for Broke with me and Steve. Like I said, there's links below. You can go ahead and get the price of return. And thank you so much. And I cannot wait to see you again with our next featured author. Thank
Thank
you so
you.
much. Bye.
Bye.